Hey, what's up guys, Jaomock here, and I'm a pro Fortnite player for FaZe Clan, and welcome to the training room. Today I'll be talking about the importance of building and taking high ground in Fortnite. Building is what separates the good players from the bad players, and if you have high ground, 99% of the time you'll be controlling your fights. So I'm going to jump right into it and show you guys a couple build techniques on how to take high ground. So for the three techniques, the first one is to initially gain high ground as fast as you can, and for the second and the third one, it is to regain high ground when you're facing an opponent. The first one is called 90s. The second one is a 180-degree turn that helps throw your opponent off for a split second so you can regain that high ground. And the third one is called the cone jump. The reason why I love high ground so much and why most pro players love high ground is because when you're high ground, especially in a pro lobby, most of the time no one really shoots at you because everyone's down below in the low ground, focusing on each other, trying not to die, and trying to rotate out of the storm. So these are some of the techniques I use to gain and regain that high ground. So I'm going to show you guys a couple different build techniques, starting with the easiest one, which are 90s. 90s are probably the easiest way to go straight up and take high ground. So I'm going to show you guys how to do 90s real quick, and then afterwards I'll explain it. So I'm going to show you guys real quick how to do this step by step, but just know there are different ways of doing this, but I'm just going to show you guys how I do them. So first you're going to start with a wall in front of your ramp, above your ramp, to the side of your ramp, then a floor below you, and then another ramp. And you kind of just do that same thing 2 or 3 times, depending on how high you want to go and how fast you want to go. But just know you'll get jump fatigue if you do it more than 3 times. Once you guys get used to the fundamentals of the 90s, you can go pretty fast with them. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is this 180-degree turn. It doesn't really have a name, but it definitely can throw your opponents off. So if you're going up for high ground and your opponent's above you and you want to throw them off, a good way to do that is by placing 2 cones, kind of show you're hiding there, and then doing a 180-degree turn, placing one wall behind your ramp above you, placing a wall beside it, and then placing a stair. And by doing that, you could throw your opponent off, and you can jump right into 90s. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this a little faster real quick. And you guys go right into the 90s. So doing this 180 could give you a half a second to throw your opponent off, and that half a second can give you a chance to fight for that high ground using 90s. So what I mean by throwing the opponent off, from this point of view, where you'd usually be below those cones, and you do that 180-degree turn and place your 2 walls in your stair, that isn't even in my field of view right now. And if I look over a little more, you can see the stair. But a lot of the times you'll want to be safe and hide behind your stair a little more, just because you don't really know what your opponent's going to do. So usually you'd be right here, and your opponent would be up here, and with that little turn, your opponent won't even, most of the time, your opponent won't even see you turning around. And that's that half second where you throw them off before they hear you building beside them. So for the final technique, I'm going to be showing you guys the cone jump. So there's 2 types of cone jumps. One where you'll just land on this floor, and one where you'll land on a stair and a floor. So I'm going to show you guys the first one real quick, where you just land on the floor. And after doing that, you could obviously just go into building right away. And the other variation of it is where you land on the stair. So the reason they call this a cone jump is because 99% of the time there will be a player right above you, and as you're trying to go up to build, he'll place a cone right above you, and that's when you use the little sidestep. So for the first variation of it, if someone cones above you, it's pretty basic. All you gotta do is just time your jump and place your floor as you jump above the cone. And it should look something like this. And that's really it. The second one, it's a little harder. There's more technique behind it. So when you get coned above, of course, you're gonna have to try to aim over towards the back of the pyramid. But as you place your floor, make sure you place your stair instantly after so you can land on the stair. It should look something like this. And then you can go into 90s right away or do, whatever you want. So usually your opponent would be right here above your placed cones or his placed cones, and you'll be at the very top, and if you can place the floor and the stair, you'll almost always have high ground. As hard as these techniques look, they're pretty basic, but all you gotta do is just put the time in every single day to practice. Hope you guys learned a thing or two from this lesson, and if you want to see more videos like this, check out the training room website. There will be a link in the description below, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's it for me, so peace.